babies.
The NBA season is upon us. The Celtics kick off the season against the 76ers on Wednesday, as we record here live on Tuesday. The Sixers are going to start their season and probably the rest of their franchise without Joel Embiid. Is that anyone want to?
He's scheduled to start. He is scheduled to start.
Bullshit. Is he really?
He is. Paul George, however, is on the injury report and probably won't play.
Is that guy ever going to he's stealing money.
The
Paul George?
76ers have got to be one of the most, I don't know what the right word to describe their franchise is, because they're a historic franchise. They're not like
the Browns or the fucking Lions. Where
they've won in the past and they've been competitive. They've put good teams together.
Blood city like Philadelphia.
Their GM is heralded across the league, but this Joel Embiid era is one of the most pathetic. I mean, I don't blame it on 70. I guess what I'm getting, I don't blame it on 76ers. I blame it on Joel Embiid. And I've called Joel Embiid a loser dog since he came into the league. Been proven right every single time. This guy's you talk about frauds. This guy's a fraud. And he bleeds through that franchise. They've lost Jimmy Butler,
James Harden.
Name the all-stars that have come through that franchise with this guy, and they've fallen short. They've never even made an East Finals, the 76ers with Joel Embiid.
Nope.
Pathetic. You should retire, you fucking bum. And then you go play for the U.S. team, which we don't do politics on the show. So whatever you want to think about that, and wherever he's from, whatever countries he's from. But
China.
But he fucking gets whatever documents he needs to get to go play for the U.S. team in that Olympics, which he's kind of barely used. He's kind of forced in there. Frankly, if he played Tatum over Embiid, they'd probably blow out the rest of those teams in the Olympics, but they were shoehorning Embiid in, and then he gets hurt and doesn't play the entire year last year. It's like, what a fucking joke. Anyway, we're here to talk about Celtics. Just to remind everybody where we're at. Jayson Tatum will not be starting the season. He blew his Achilles, but he is on he blew his Achilles. I keep saying ACL when I mean Achilles, but I said Achilles. That was correct.
You are correct.
He is on a record pace, faster than the Steph Diggs recovery. Even
faster than KD, right? KD came back in like 10 months, I believe, or
no, I think he's a little bit longer than, but yeah, he's on that
trajectory.
Jesus trajectory. Like somebody tapped in Polly. Did you guys watch that video or Instagram thing I sent you?
I got a little grossed out by it. Thank you.
It was an actual video of them and what it looks like a infographic of what they actually do when they surgically repair an Achilles tendon. It just whips off, and they stick threads in it with bolts and shit and strap it all together. How that guy, anybody walks after that is unbelievable. I don't want to glaze up Tatum too much. Who knows? But he's expected back in March. So
they're saying February. Or wait, when's his birthday?
March.
So yeah, that's when he wants to come back. He wants to come back. Yeah,
he wants to come back for his birthday.
He wants to come back.
She made a nice little birthday present there for him. In the offseason, they did lose Jrue Holiday, of course, Al Horford, Luke Kornet, Kristaps Porziņģis, also JD Davidson, G League MVP, was waived. They drafted Hugo Gonzalez, Amari Williams, and Max Shulga. They added Chris Boucher from the Raptors, Luka Garza from every other team he's been on, just Josh Minott, and Anfernee Simons was traded for in the Jrue Holiday trade. They also retained or re-signed Torrey Craig and whatever that deal consisted of. Just to stick on the offseason, some of the regrets. So Luka Kornet signed a 4-year deal, $40.7 million, little over $10 million to keep Luka Kornet, which Luka Kornet's not going to blow anybody away. But when we get to what the Celtics lineup looks like and what their front court is for $11 million, I'll take Luka Kornet. I'll take Luka Kornet kind of all day, especially from a culture standpoint and what he can provide. And then Al Horford left for 2 years and $11.6 million deal, When asked about it, Horford said that he left for financial reasons and also because basically he didn't think the Celtics could compete for a championship.
Fuck Al Horford now.
Go on. Anything else? Anything else on the Kornet deal?
I mean, I don't understand why we let Kornet go. I thought he was playing extremely well down the stretch, and even in the playoffs. Like, he had a real nice repertoire with Peyton Pritchard and Derek White. Like, he was always like getting those putbacks and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a bummer that we lost those two, and what we have to replace them is, as Bobby would say, oh, woof, 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 woof.
Yep. We know why we don't have them anymore. It's so they didn't have to pay the luxury tax, and they're waiting to reload on their second run when whatever they feel it's necessary to make that move for it.
Yeah, so I've got some quotes here from Brad Stevens. Did an interview with the Athletic that talked about his offseason, and they were constricted from the second apron in the timing of deals that they could make and the free agency things that they could do, and maybe that got in the way of the Luke Kornet thing. The Al Horford, I think we've learned Al Horford is a professional in every sense of the word, and when the biggest deal is on the table, he's going to take it, and I think he got that from the Warriors, and he took it. If you think the Warriors have a better chance to win the NBA championship than the Celtics this year, you're probably right, but not by that much. They've got the oldest starting lineup in the league in a stacked West. So don't tell me you're championship driven, Al, when you're leaving for $6 million or so a year when you could have taken maybe 2 to 4 or something with the Celtics to stay here.
I hope we get like the 7th seed and like Golden State doesn't even make the playoffs.
Well, you might get more than that. I'd like to talk about that. Before we do, let's just stick on this offseason and what Brad Stevens had to say about it. Here's some quotes here from The Athletic. Before trading Jrue Holiday and Porziņģis and losing Al Horford and Kornet to free agents, Stevens said he laid out an offseason vision for, quote, anyone who wanted to talk about it, end quote, including coaches and players. In various conversations, Stevens explains the rationale for moving on from playoff-tested veterans and the desire to replace them with what he hoped to be cultural fits. This is Stevens talking now. Quote, we were very forthright with everybody. We tried to be proactive as possible, communicating that, hey, these things are going to happen. We're going to bring in young, hungry, maybe unproven, maybe a little bit scared, maybe high character people that are going to play hard, that want to be part of something special. Even he goes on to say, even if Tatum had remained healthy, Stevens said that he was anticipating cutting enough salary to push the Celtics under the second apron. If they had kept everyone from last year's roster, they would have racked up an NBA record payroll of $500 million. Stevens goes on to say, first and foremost, what we were staring at was a bill like no one has ever stared at, right? So that was not the driver as much as the second apron, but that's still a significant thing. And our owners, past and present, have always been committed to spending. But it made sense for us, even in that perspective, to retool, in my opinion. And then when you're sitting over those aprons and you just have a lot of restrictions, ... you have to make the moves that you have to make. Basically,
Jayson Tatum's injury is a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Well, a blessing in disguise. No, I talked about. I think we talked about this before last season started. They were moving on from Jrue Holiday and Porziņģis before the 2024 season. That was happening.
But it looks better from a GM and a front office perspective when you say, oh, well, our star player's hurt. No need to spend all this money. No need to have a $500 million payroll, one of the biggest in NBA history. Our star player's hurt. It's time to retool. Instead of saying, oh, if Tatum was still here, and then you let go of Jrue Holiday and you have what you were going to read about the starters and the bench players, that's not going to win you a championship, especially with the Jays.
No, but he does say even if Tatum remained healthy, they were anticipating cutting salary to get under the second apron. And we talked about that all year. That would have been the most money spent on an NBA roster in the history of the league.
Yeah.
Including Steph Curry's 4-time champion Warriors. Yeah. Nobody's going to do that, whether it's a new owner or not a new owner. So if you want to be one of these critics about spending money or just, it's not my money, spend the money, you can, but you can also live in the world of realism. And they're not going to spend $500 million on a roster, especially when you get bounced in the second round by the fucking Knicks, which was happening whether Tatum got hurt or not. When he got hurt, they were losing that game. It was happening. They were going to lose that game, and they were going to be down 4-2, 3-1, whatever it was. They were going to lose that series against the Knicks, whether Tatum got hurt or not. So yes, Ray, it's a nice cushion of cover to operate under. Jayson Tatum's hurt. Everyone thinks this season is lost. There's way too many fucking people screaming tank. You can't tank.
No, you can't do that. That's loser mentality. Never tank.
First of all, it's loser mentality. Second of all, you have too many good players to tank. You have to trade Jaylen Brown and Derek White to actually tank.
Or
you only have to have one good player to not tank in the NBA. It's so hard to tank in the NBA. You have to be so bad. You have to be so bad. You have Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White, and Anfernee Simons, which is new to us, but he's a 20-point a game scorer in the NBA. You have too many good players to tank. You can't tank. Let me just sum up this point, and we can get your opinion on it and move on to the next points. My opening take was they are in a position to start to stack building blocks for their next championship window with Tatum and Brown, which will be kind of in the end of their prime careers, whatever you want to call that, going into their 30s. Stack good habits, understand what you have on this team, build on that, bring Tatum back late, maybe make a little playoff push, go get yourself some front court help and some depth in the guard position for 2027. And Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Derek White and your guys should be good enough to, again, compete for the championship in 2 years. And you can use this year to build on that. Not tank and get some fucking stupid 5th pick rookie. That's dumb. Build on good habits and maybe create a different way to win games other than chucking 45 to 75 threes a game, which I'll get to in a second. Anyone else want to comment on Brad Stevens' comments there in the offseason, Bobby?
Yeah, Brad Stevens is saying what we think he was going to say, and now he's just going to sit back and wait for whenever the best opportunity is to make a move with what the assets that they have. We don't know what it's going to be, but we know it's coming.
So here's your starters. Going into the league, you got Peyton Pritchard, a point guard, Derek White, Jaylen Brown. Your front court may be the worst in the league. You've got some combination of who they signed, Chris Boucher from the Raptors, who is a veteran, Neemias Queta, who's been in the league, been on the team for a while, obviously, had a good run with Portugal in the International League this summer. Anfernee Simons looks to be coming off the bench as a scoring option. Sam Hauser, we know. Luka Garza, a new signing, a journeyman, kind of a iffy player there. Josh Minot, high-energy guy. Hugo Gonzalez, the first-round draft pick. Baylor Shireman, we saw a little bit of. Tillman, Amari Williams, Jordan Walsh, Max Shulga, Tillman, you're getting to the end of the bench there. It's for sure the worst front court in the league.
Bums.
A lot of bums. What we're hearing out of them is they're going to adjust the way they play the game, and what they want to do is run. Here's one more quote here from Stevens and Mazzulla. Quote, if you're going to have to reset and retool, this is Stevens, what you're trying to do is just trying to give yourself a chance to be opportunistic if that presents itself. Kind of what you just said, Bobby. Stevens said, we live it. We knew it was coming, and, it wasn't the most fun summer for a GM or a front office person, but we knew that was part of the pain of A, going all in the last couple of years, and B, making sure we give ourselves a chance to continue to be opportunistic around our young core. And our core is still young and very, very good. Around that core, the Celtics have reinvented themselves. Based on all indications throughout training camp and preseason, they intend to adopt a radical different playing style, Bobby. Without nearly as much established talent, they're hoping to beat opponents with waves of energy. Certain areas they have struggled in, for the most part, with Mazzulla's tenure, such as forced turnovers and offensive rebounds, now rank among their biggest emphases. Mazzulla appears likely to employ a rotation of 10 or more players with a reliance on short stints that each player can give a maximum effort the entire time they're on the court.
What does that sound like? That sounds like Coach Hayes telling us what we're going to do in fucking 8th grade because we fucking sucked, okay? That's exactly what it sounds like,
It does sound like that.
Mazzulla doesn't know what the fuck he was doing, and neither did Hayes. That's the dumbest crock of fucking bullshit I've ever heard. If you say how you're going to win basketball games is you're going to try fucking harder, you suck.
Raymond?
I like it. Run. That's what I like to hear. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta start reinventing the wheel over there in the NBA, and Joe Mazzulla is gonna do it with all this running and fast breaking. We're never gonna see anything like it. I love it.
No. I agree with Bobby. I agree with Bobby on that. Let's see what Jaylen Brown has to say about it.
Yeah, it's intense, physical, intense, pace. I think the coaching staff has done a good job of setting the tempo and pace of preseason. It's probably been my hardest preseason I think I've had from a conditioning standpoint and a physicality standpoint, but that's what we're going to need this season.
Can I tell you something that I've told you before? Jaylen Brown is about to get exposed as an NBA basketball player. Unless they run the Coach Hayes offense, which is 5 on, 5 off, 5 on, 5 off. And unless he's treated like like every other guy on that team, Jaylen Brown's about to get exposed. They have enough talent to float themselves in the East, which is a bad conference.
Yeah, they'll win games.
If they have a good enough coach to understand what they need to do. And what they need to do is limit Jaylen Brown and what he is supposed to do on the team. And I think what Jaylen Brown thinks what he's supposed to do is to beat Jayson Tatum, and he can't. Your coach is responsible to tell him he can't. Moose shifts some of that responsibility and then get your team to play around it. That's not what it sounds like.
It's like Jaylen Brown has to understand that he is not going to be the point guard. That's going to be Derek White. He gets the ball. You go stand over there. Derek White gets the ball. You get the ball sometimes. Derek White's going to facilitate the offense, not you.
To be fair, and to put a little optimism on this, if you want to believe in advanced analytics, usage rate, if you want to believe in that in the preseason, I know it means a whole lot of nothing. Derek White was head and shoulders above the use of anybody else on usage rate on this team. Brought the ball up in 29% or something on usage rate for Derek White. Was averaging like 22 points. His net rating off the court when he was off was negative like 1,000 or something. Massive indicator of the success on this team, and I think that's pretty obvious because what you said is right, Bobby. He needs to initiate all of the offense, and Jaylen Brown more or less needs to stay in his role. He needs to stay in the more or less the exact role he was in with Tatum, except a few more touches a game because he's a better option than everybody else on that team when it comes to the offense getting initiated. And the only thing we can hope for outside of run is Tom Thibodeau was at practice this week, and he says, "Hey, dickhead, you shot it 60 fucking times from 3, and you shot it 32%. It wasn't that hard to defend you. You should just fucking let you shoot because you suck at it. Drive the lane and see what happens. Or if you have an 18-point lead, go to the rim or do something other than spread the ball 5 wide and shoot 40 fucking threes in a quarter." And it's it's hard to defend a team with that much talent. I'm pretty sure Tom Thibodeau said that. I think they got audio of it. We don't have it, but if we did, I'm pretty sure that's what it would say.
That would be great if he was just fucking trolling him all practice about how he fucking waxed him in the playoffs.
He should. I will give them a little bit of credit. I will give Mazzulla a little bit of credit. He is insane. And he is going to wear his welcome thin here. Like a guy like that does not stay forever. So you can count on that, Bobby. He won't be here forever. But also a guy like that, that guy doesn't stay forever. That guy generally also does not bring in the coach that beat him in the playoffs.
Fair point.
So there is a little bit of that, like, not quite, I don't know what to call it, humbleness, but it's almost like
Self-awareness.
exerting like insanity, where he's so confident through his insanity. He's like, sure, bring this fucking guy in, see what this idiot has to say. Yeah, he might have beat me, but I don't care. Like,
can I say something real quick? It's gonna be interesting because Sam Cassell took the Georgia Tech job this year, so he's not gonna be on the bench. And remember how we were always thought Sam Cassell was the one taking Joe Mazzulla down, being like, hey, just chill out. Like, yeah, I know you're crazy, but like he was like the sane guy trying to talk the crazy guy down a little bit. They don't have that this year. So I'm wondering how crazy.
Did he take that last year?
No, it's this off. He was with the team this year and then left.
Okay. Well, we shall see. Let me just do. Here's a quick exercise. Oh, before I do that, this is more important. How much do you guys believe in the tax implications on the team and the new ownership? So right now, their current tax bill is $39.5 million. They have cap allocations for $206.6 million towards their salary. The luxury tax is $188 million. So they're paying $206 million for their team. The luxury tax is $188. They have to pay $40 million in taxes if they stay under that tax. $40 million comes out of Chisholm's pocket. I'm saying this simplistic for Ray. Anfernee Simons, just for an example, his cap hit is $27 million. Write it down, Ray. If they trade him by the trade deadline, they do not get those tax hits. They save $40 million. Do you believe they will do that? And how much of it hinges on their success plus versus Jayson Tatum's trajectory to return to the team?
He gone. I don't think they want to pay that money. I don't think Chisholm wants to pay that kind of cash, especially his first year owning the team. So yeah, I think Anfernee Simons is going to be gone come the trade deadline for sure.
I think they'll trade him if the return that they get back is still a movable asset for future big pieces that they want. I think if they can get the win-win situation, they do it.
You think they'll sacrifice the $40 million if they can't get a suitable return?
No, I don't think they'll just do a straight salary dump. No, I think they only do it if the piece that they get back can be used to then get the superstar that they ultimately want.
Yeah, I agree. I halfway agree with both of you. I don't think it's about getting the superstar next. I think all of the implication is on whether they can win with Tatum coming back or what position they're in at the deadline. If Jaylen Brown gets hurt and they're out and they're 500, Simons is gone, they'll dump him. They'll salary dump him. They'll get under the luxury tax, which is not insignificant. Which is not an insignificant thing. Again, they're in repeater tax. They're paying 3 times the amount of money it takes over that than most teams are to keep players. So if you go back this year, if you're a 500 team or less and Jayson and Tatum and Brown is hurt or something and it doesn't look like you're going to compete, dump him. Reset. Give yourself the financial security to move forward for the next 3 years into the luxury tax. That totally makes sense. If they're competing, if Jaylen Brown's good, if they're great, Anfernee Simons averaging 22 off the bench,
keeping him.
You better not fucking trade that guy. You better compete. That will be the indicator on, do we have a John Henry as an owner, or do we have a 2020 John Henry, 2025 John Henry? Do we have a 2004 John Henry? Are they going to spend, or are they going to make some money? That'll be an indicator. So keep an eye out on that. We've got some other things there, but we'll save. We got a long Celtics season. I want to get right back here to this or that with Chief Bobby.